Hello, welcome everyone back to the SGL podcast. And today it's gonna be a very interesting topic, but we're gonna go into that once I have also introduced my co-host.
Yeah, DoukieGaming here on Twitch.
Alright.
Follow me and our podcast on
Yes.
Twitter.
Oh yeah, very
and
important.
on YouTube. Do not forget that, people. Do not forget to follow and subscribe.
Yes, that's a very good point. Be sure to subscribe so you know when we will release a new episode.
Yeah.
Alright, so today we have come up with what I would say an interesting topic. So this was mostly Doukie's idea, and I think it was a pretty good idea as well. So today we want to talk about dating within the gaming world, or more specifically, long distance relationships. And is it sustainable? Like, can it work out? So yeah, Doukie, do you want to start off with something?
Yeah, let's see here. Yeah. The reason why that actually came up in my mind is because, I was playing with a few friends, and then I have this friend that's talking about his long distance relationship with a girl that he has that lives in the US, and he lives in Finland.
Oh.
And they have they've actually managed to keep that relationship going for like at least 2 or 3 years.
For that long?
Yeah, for 2 to 3 years. But me personally, yeah, I just avoid that. I've had some bad experience with that, but that's something we got to talk about a bit later on.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so my question to what you just said is like, so have they known each other for like, okay, so they've known each other for like 3 years, right? They had this relationship going for like 3 years, but have they seen each other like face to face?
Oh yeah, they have.
Okay, so like did they have like traveled to each other's country and met up and stuff like that?
Several times, yep. They stayed for a longer period of time.
Okay. Well, see, that's very interesting though, but why haven't they moved together then? If they've been together for 3 years, you would imagine they would, I don't know, be interested in like moving together.
Well, from what I know, it's mainly because papers and shit. It's paperwork that's been preventing them.
Ah, okay, so there's a bit about like the whole like immigrating into a country and stuff like that.
Yeah. I think he's been wanting to get the green card in the US for a few times, and it's been denied like 4 times.
Oh, well, why not the other way around?
Shit, I don't know. Because mostly because I think he doesn't have that much family in Finland. So he wants to move to the US, where his girl basically has most of her family that lives even nearby. So I guess it's a bit about their own personal preference. If he doesn't mind moving away from his family, moving to the US, build a new family there, I don't know. I haven't really gotten into that much of their relationship because I'm not the one to pry too much, if they don't want to talk about it themselves.
Oh yes, of course. It's just, yeah, I don't know. It's just that when you talk about it, I'm just sitting here thinking, it sounds like a very interesting relationship, but also it's like, I mean, I can kind of understand like they're trying to move over to, well, I guess the guy is trying to move over to USA, right? But he's getting denied and it isn't really successful. So my question is, what about just finding a middle ground? Perhaps they could choose to move to, I don't know, Germany? That's like a halfway point.
Isn't it closest to move to France or like Britain though?
It could be. Honestly, yeah.
Because Germany is basically south of Finland. It's not that far off. It's not that far to the west.
I mean, come on, let's be real. Like, obviously, they should move to Denmark, right, or Sweden.
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely, just come over here. No, but
or even the Netherlands. We never know.
Yeah, could be. But yeah, I think if you have trouble to move to one country, even though it might be scary, perhaps it would be better to maybe try and find a place where it does become possible, right? But it is hard to know. Like we don't know the full scope.
We don't
of
know the full
situation.
dynamic of their relationship and all
Yeah,
that shit.
exactly.
We don't know that.
There's a lot of things that aren't really completely clear to us at the very least. So it's a bit hard to go too much into that.
Yeah, but even then, if there was some, like, I don't want to tell everything about them, but I actually did ask him though for permission first.
Oh,
because I told him that we're gonna talk about this. Is it okay if I can mention a little bit about your relationship out there? He's like, yeah, it's okay. I was like, so you guys know I'm not talking about someone else's private life without actually having the permission to. Just throwing it out there.
Yeah, obviously. I mean, it would be rude otherwise.
Yeah, it is. It's pretty disrespectful. Because putting someone else's life out there, like, yeah, but let me just talk about this guy's life.
Yeah, I'm glad you asked permission because I was a little bit worried, but it's good to know.
Yeah, I did ask permission first because I told him that we were talking about this topic, and I told him like your relationship is pretty much sort of like a pretty good example for people that can make it work. Actually, it is kind of successful in its own way.
I think you're right. It definitely sounds like their example is a success story. I mean, even though they don't really truly have the whole happy ending right now, it sounds like they are like on their way, or they're trying, right?
Yeah, so, at least they're working towards it, and you can make it work if you put in the effort.
Exactly.
Most people actually just give up. Me personally, I don't even want to try it. I don't want to try it.
Yeah, I mean
that's more story time I will tell you guys later on in the later in the episode.
Yeah, I think we're gonna go into that a little bit later on because we want to cover a few a few topics. Like there are a few things we want to talk about before we talk about our personal experiences here. So one thing we need to talk about, obviously. There's a risk to like online dating, or like there's a risk to like long distance relationship. We know that like catfishing is a thing, right? Like catfishing is very common, and there's even this MTV show called Catfish, if I remember correctly. So it is occurring frequently enough to be made into a TV show, or like a reality show rather, and it is quite common that a lot of stories on like the internet, people like talk, especially on Reddit. Sometimes I go on r/Tinder, and there's some crazy stories there. I remember specifically there was this one guy in the comments, don't remember who exactly, he just wrote that everything went well, they talked and everything, set up a date. So when they arrived, his date arrived and she greeted him, and he looked around and he was confused because he was like, well, where's my date? And then she's like, well, here I am. And it's like, well, no, that can't be you. Oh, the pictures are just like a few years old. And then he's like, yeah, a few years old, all right.
Yeah.
So apparently, the woman in her pictures looked more fit, right? More fit, I guess is the right way to say it, right? And then when she met up to like the location when they had to go on the date, she was significantly bigger. Like she had put on a lot of weight. As opposed to the pictures that's shown online. So it's not like it is the same person in the pictures, just, you know, and at a different stage in their life, I think is a good way to put it. But it's not according to his expectations. So I think catfishing, there are different ways.
That is a form of catfishing, yes.
Yeah, there's one form of catfishing, right? But then there's the other form of catfishing where
you completely fake an identity, which is
the fake identity. Yeah, so it's I remember that some have catfished their whole gender, like a guy pretended to be a woman.
Yeah, definitely.
Just to
actually, by the way, that's one of my favorite streams back then when I was looking at World of Warcraft a lot. Maldiva, actually, on Twitch. He was also in an episode of Catfish because he catfished once.
Oh my god!
People actually came into his stream and was like, "Aren't you from Catfish?" I was like, wait, he's been in Catfish? I need to fucking check this out. And I checked it out, and yes, he's been on Catfish. And he was the catfisher,
Oh
I
my
think.
god.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's quite interesting.
Oh, I have
actually.
actually been. I've been catfished myself.
Oh, you have.
Yeah, I have. I remember this. Was it? I was using Tinder back then. I was like, this is years back, long before I met my girl though. And there was this one girl. We matched. You know, I was like, okay, you know what? Fine, let's see how this goes. And we started talking. You know, the conversation was great. Like, we're all great. I'm not the person, you know, that asks for pictures and all that. I see what I see there, and then I'm trying to find out from the personality, because I don't try to be as shallow, you know, as most people are. I'm not gonna lie. Using Tinder, you're a little bit shallow, because the first thing that attracts you is the looks.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
then again, I try to
I'm
build a
gonna let you
conversation.
finish. Yeah, I'm gonna let you
Yeah,
finish speaking because I got something to add to that. But yeah, continue.
yeah. So I decided, you know, let's give it a try. Let's talk to this person and see how it's gonna be like. And then great conversation, you know, everything's going all fine. I'm like, all right. We decide to meet up for coffee. Then I get to I get to the cafe where we're supposed to meet up. I'm sitting there and like, wait, hold on, like it's past like 10 past. Wait, where's this person? I was like, okay, I probably stood up. The person's probably stood me up, you know. I was like, okay, whatever. I'm about to leave, and then I hear like, oh, Dookie. I was like, turn around. Who are you? But we talked. I don't recall talking to you. If we talked on Tinder, Linda? Yeah. Oh. Well, you
Oh,
don't look anything near what like. You're like a completely different person.
oh no.
That's it. And then the excuse I got was like, yeah, I'm not that confident with my looks, but I thought you would like me for my personality. And I'm just like, I told you as gentle as possible. I was like, look, what attracted me to first in the beginning was the person on the picture. That was the looks. And then the conversation after that, don't get me wrong, it was great. But seeing as you already tricked me, this is not a good start for me to want to building a trusting relationship with you, because the first thing you did was actually lie to me about
Holy
about
shit.
your looks. So I was like, you know what? It's better if we just walk our own ways, and you good luck with the dating. And by the way, as a tip, actually put up pictures about yourself and let people actually get attracted by your looks
Yeah,
start talking to you.
it definitely
And then
sounds
I
very
just left.
strange. But yeah, the thing I wanted to add is that no matter how you look at it, like the thing that makes us interested in a person, no matter if you're a man, a woman, or whatever,
Hmm.
it is the physical attraction that matters the most at the start. Because if you are not if you're not attracted to the person that you're going to talk to, I mean,
Yeah.
already in your mind you decided that's it. I'm not gonna pursue this, or I'm not gonna be serious about it. And I think that is I think Tinder just takes that and then amplifies up to like 100. You know, it's like it's very apparent that you cannot know a person's personality simply by like swiping left or right on an app,
Mm.
right? Now
No, 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 no.
we're talking about Tinder here, right? But like any app whatsoever. So the only thing you can really like, you can get to know someone by like texting or like talking. But I think when it comes to dating in general, or at least online dating, if we're gonna go into that, like meeting people online especially, it's like your personality most of the time can shine through. But the problem is you can keep writing, talking over the phone, and you can keep doing that. But by the time that you actually meet face to face, the mystery is kind of gone, isn't it?
Yep.
Like, yeah, you know so much about the person, so women like a good mystery about a man, right? It's very attractive. And I guess for myself, sometimes I actually do like if there's a bit of mystery behind a woman as well. Like, I think it's quite nice that you can discover things about a woman, but the problem is online dating kind of like pushes you to write with a person or having these like conversations way ahead of like when you have the actual date. And then once you get to the actual date, when you meet face to face, at that point you know each other so well to the point where like there isn't really much to talk about. Like, there's nothing new to discover other than like having to talk about something that you haven't talked about. And depending on who you are as a person, that might change. So I think it can work. Like, I'm not saying this is like a thing where it doesn't work, but just the way I see it, especially with like online dating, it's like we are in the topic of like long distance relationships, right? So obviously, if you're a long distance relationship, that kind of thing will always be a thing. But at that point, like, you will have known each other for so long that it isn't really that big of a deal. Mostly here,
like honestly though, people that has a long distance relationship, they're people that are also not that starved of like physical intimacy. They just want someone that they know that actually shows love to them. Because personally, I feel like if I have a partner, I want to be close to my partner. I want to be able to hold my partner, all that. That's why I can't, like, I did a long distance relationship when I was younger, and that ended up with really bad with that person just actually cheating on me.
Oh, fuck.
Which is also one of the reasons why I do not do long distance relationships. Not gonna lie, me and my current girl, we had a little bit of long distance relationship, but the difference there is that we met each other every week, and then I moved in.
Yeah. I mean, see, that's a big difference, right? Because a long distance relationship is like, it also how you define it. So a long distance relationship could be that you live like 2 cities apart. Kind of. Not really. Maybe not 2 cities, but let's say like you live like I don't know, 60 kilometers away from each other. I would say that's pretty long distance, right? Like that's it takes a long time, right, to meet up and see each other. And I think that in a way, that kind of relationship, it can work out, right? It's easier because you live a bit closer to each other, so it's not that difficult. But one thing, I think when we talk long distance relationship here, I think what we are on about is mostly like another country or a completely different state. Like if you're in the US, it's like maybe
the states are pretty far apart from each other. Like
exactly.
Honestly, I didn't think the states were that far before, but knowing now is just like, oh shit, they're actually pretty far apart.
Yeah, America is pretty huge, and there's a reason why it's divided up into states, because it is pretty huge. But that's also why, like, I think that it is kind of risky, right? Like as you mentioned before, like the intimacy, like personally, me as well, it's like I prefer the intimacy, and I'm not just talking about the bedroom fun. I'm talking about like the real stuff, like hugging, kissing, go for a walk together, holding hands, that kind of stuff, that kind of intimacy. It's really hard to get that on a regular basis if you live far from each other, right? Like if you live countries apart.
Oh yeah, that's the thing. But there's also I know that with long distance relationship, people have a lot of fears. Like, is your partner gonna be loyal to you? What are they doing when you're not like there? And this is also one of the reasons why most people do not want to be in a long distance relationship. Because from my own experience, having been in that situation, it prevents me completely from wanting to go into one again. Like, if I can't meet the person, like, weekly at least, then I don't want to take any part in that. Because I have been hurt badly by it, and, I'm scarred. Even people that haven't been in a long-distance relationship before have probably heard a lot about it. And that's the reason they don't want to, they don't want to go into that either.
Yeah, I mean, for me as well, like, I have tried like long distance relationship, or at least Yeah, I mean, there have been like a few funny instances. When I was a teenager, I had like, there was this. Okay, so I'm not gonna mention any names just for identity protection or whatever. Even though I think the whole identity of that girl was a lie. But so apparently, she led me on to believe she was like very interested in me, wanted to be with me and stuff like that, and we lived like pretty far from each other. We're talking like 120 kilometers away from each other, but still within the same country. So it's like it was pretty far away. But the problem was that at no point ever. So I didn't meet her in person, right, face to face. Never met her, but never in any point in time did you want to show her face.
That is a big warning sign.
Yeah, because like when she sent me pictures, right, I did like a reverse Google image search, and I found out that some of the pictures she sent me was from like a blogger or someone completely fucking different that clearly wasn't her. I mean, at one time she sent me pictures of this Norwegian blogger, and I was like, "What the fuck, man?" It's like you're exposed, but when I exposed her,
a Norwegian blogger?
Yeah, a Norwegian blogger. Yeah, I don't know, like, but I exposed her, and she got quite mad. It's like, "Don't you believe me?" I was like, "Well, obviously I don't." Like.
It's like, the moment that when a liar gets exposed, they get pissed because they're like, fuck, my cover is blown.
Yeah, but you know what? I was just such a simp. I was just like, oh, you can just show me your face and I'll forgive you. I mean, when I look back, holy fuck, like, I was fucking weak. And dude,
you were desperate at that time, bro.
Yeah, and dude, I gotta admit, like, to this day, I found myself being fucking desperate sometimes, but not anymore, man. Like, it's either like on my terms or it doesn't go, right? Because I'm done with all that bullshit. It's like either you meet up within 2 weeks, right? Unless there is like some unfortunate circumstances, but like if there is if 1 month have passed and you haven't seen each other face to face, like if you haven't set up a date, met up, whatever. It's over, right? Like, for any man listening to this podcast, if you have to wait a month for a girl wanting to see you and she doesn't live that far away from you, heck,
honestly, move on. Move on. Yes, move on.
Move on.
To be honest,
yeah.
Like, I'm just saying like this, and this is not only for men; it's also for females. If
true.
you find someone that does not reciprocate or show any efforts into really wanting you, and now I'm talking about actually showing effort, and you're also showing effort. You're not playing any games, because as soon as someone, like, this is the thing nowadays, people play too many games, and sadly, the majority of that is done by females, but men do it as well. So I'm not saying that men aren't doing it, but mostly girls likes to play games about, like, and a lot of men nowadays have started to notice that shit and are just walking away. They're just walking away from it. They're like, no, people are tired of games, men and females.
Yeah, definitely.
Men and women are just tired of the shit. They don't want to deal with it anymore.
But like, to make it clear, like, obviously, we're on the topic of long distance relationship, so you can't avoid having to wait around a month. Maybe you have to wait more than a month to actually see each other, right? Because like, if your countries apart, makes it pretty damn hard. Now,
but it's a difference if you have seen each other like on FaceTime and talking to each other that.
That like, if that is the case, then it is different. Like, it's something more believable, right? But as you said, Doukie, there are like too many risks involved. There's like the potential of your partner cheating on you because, well, there's the lack of intimacy, right? Like, and the emotional connection, like, we as men, we have a stronger emotional connection to someone we actually spend time with.
Yep.
But I found out that if you're emotionally distant towards a girl that's interested in you, she wants you more, a little bit, right? At least that's what I've noticed sometimes.
Yeah,
But
like,
it might not be that always, but it's just something I've noticed a few times, that the girls that I don't want are mostly interested in me, but the girls that I do want don't want anything with me because I give them too much attention. Like I bombard them with everything. Like I give them validation for free, right?
yeah, I have seen a lot of things like that, and honestly, I can understand what you mean, but like when I stopped, like I remember I've been trying like to date two of these girls, right? But during that time when I actually tried to, I took them on dates, and I did everything for them, as a guy that is interested in a girl should be doing, right?
Mm-hmm.
But did I end up with them being my girlfriend? No. I actually got the comment call that where they said you're too nice, and I'm like, huh? You said I'm too nice. I'm like, this is just common courtesy on how to treat a woman. I've been brought up like this. I am a traditional kind of guy. But if this is too nice for you, I don't know what you're after, and I decided to ignore it.
But sometimes but like sometimes I think that when a woman says you're too nice, I think it's mostly just because that woman is not in a place in her life when she's ready to like settle down, because I think for the most part some women actually want this like father figure, or like they want someone that can at least be a good father to their children, at least is what I would imagine. Now I'm not claiming to know how to read a woman's mind. That is like fucking beyond me. But yeah, I mean it's quite, I don't know, it's quite the puzzling like brain gymnastics that's going on in my head when I have to figure out what the hell do I do wrong, or like what the hell went wrong in the first place. And I think for the most part, when it comes to this like whole online dating, especially through gaming, it is very apparent that like, so what's the majority, right? Like, so it's either you're a girl online, and then it's like, get the fuck out of my game. They're like, women don't play video games, or like they are being rather sexist, right? But then there's the opposite side of the whole discussion. Then it's like, oh, you're a woman? Can I see exposing picture explicit
yeah, it's
pictures?
basically just nudes and shit.
Yeah, it's dude, yeah, it's, oh my god. Sometimes you actually sit here and wonder, why is it so different, right? And then the guys that are just like neutral about it all, to some extent, I think some women might find it more interesting to actually spend time with those guys, because it's like they aren't getting bombarded and they aren't being hated on. And I think that's a nice change of pace. Now, I'm mostly speaking for the majority, because I know there is like a lot of guys that do not care at all if it's a guy, a woman, whatever, online, right? So I think when it comes to dating, especially through gaming, I mean, it gets kind of tricky, right? Because it's like, is it possible to find a girl that you can actually date through gaming? Yes, but is it? Is there a high chance for it? Like, is it very likely? I would say no.
This is the thing. I've actually just recently, pretty recently, when I found Fantasy before the Endwalker came out and all that shit, I was playing with a group of friends. Like, basically, it was me and another friend of mine, and we had a couple that basically, one was living in South Africa and the other one lived in the Arab states, and they had a relationship, long distance. But let me tell you this: their relationship was rocky as the hell. Like, there was drama every day. like literally every day. The guy complaining, like to me, he's like, he just wanted to vent. I was like, okay, you can talk to me, I don't mind, you know, if you want to vent and all that shit. Talks to us, like talks to me and my real close friend Void, and we're basically there for him, listening to all of his troubles and all that shit. They keep fighting back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. But at the same time, you know, there's a lot of underlying like stuff like that because we thought these guys were friends, like good friends to us. For me, it was basically just like, you know, acquaintances that I met through my friend Void.
Yeah.
But because Void was a lot closer to these people. And even there, like, there was yeah, I can't talk. I haven't asked permission from him, so I talk about that one, but I can talk about this one because those people ended up being snakes, and so I don't really give a shit about exposing them.
but to be fair, like, we can't really expose people per se, because, like,
no,
you know, that's
but it's just how their relationship really ended up was being extremely toxic to the point where they started to abuse my dear friend Void and made him suffer for helping out.
Oh, what the heck?
Yeah,
that's weird. But
yeah, and they also tried with me. But the thing with me though is that I heard both sides, and I told them, you know what? Quite frankly, I don't give a shit. You guys go sort that out, because you have already hurt my friend, and I'm not gonna be a part of that. They told me to choose either my friend or them. And you know what I told them? You guys think I would choose you guys that I met on the net over a friend of mine that I have been friends with for years? You guys seriously think I'm gonna choose you before him? Yeah, get out of here.
For fuck's sake, man.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. I don't want to swear on this show, right? Because of YouTube guidelines and shit. But fuck.
Yeah.
What? That's so fucked up,
I was just
man.
like, what is wrong? Like, you guys have a long distance relationship. You guys having trouble with it. We're trying to help you out. You end up abusing my friend instead, hurting him, and now you're trying to make me choose? The hell's wrong with you?
Yeah, that's stupid. God damn, that sounds so stupid, man.
Yeah, it was pure stupidity.
Yeah, but one thing, like, so this thing pops up in my head right now, right? So you said South Africa and Saudi Arabia?
Mm-hmm.
Was that it?
Mm-hmm.
So here my mind goes like, didn't it work out because of cultural differences?
No, apparently one was too clingy, and the other one was pretty distant of themselves. The other one was like over the lovingly empathic. The other one was basically a bit cut off, distant.
Yikes. Okay. Well, I mean, to be fair, like, it's not like different cultures can't like work together, but I definitely do believe that some cultural differences can make it quite hard to make a relationship work, right? And it depends on how you're raised. So let's say that I am raised with certain values because of the culture I'm brought up in, and then someone else grew up in another place where they have different values, and I think just like the people that the people that have two different values but then try to make it work but don't really seem to compromise, I think that's when it starts to be where it doesn't work out, right? Because relationships are all about compromise, right?
Compromise and working together, basically.
Exactly, especially online dating, like especially like long distance relationships. That shit. Wow. I mean, you really have to do some sacrifices. Like, you have to compromise. It's either like, so you're from this country, I'm from another country. What country are we gonna live in? That's the first question, right? Like, where are we gonna live?
Yeah, that is one question that I have always thought about. Like, are you guys gonna continue like this? Do you guys want to build a family? So are you gonna just like stay away from each other for the rest of your life without actually getting any kind of like physical intimacy? Like, you know, or are you guys gonna meet up Because
That's
at
weird,
some
right?
point, it doesn't matter for people that has long distance relationship. This subject will be brought up. Otherwise, it's never gonna work. Never.
Yeah, exactly. Like there needs to be a point where you address the important issue that is, where are we gonna live? Because a relationship isn't really a relationship if you don't live together at some point, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, there are different relationships where it works better if you live far apart, but not so far that you can't see each other that often, right? Some
Yeah,
people
yeah. Like a
prefer to
little bit of
only,
break is
yeah,
always good. Having your own time for yourself.
exactly.
But then again, as you said, too far apart. Mm, yeah,
Yeah,
no.
yeah. It's, I don't know. I think what we're getting into here is that like there can be a lot of positive sides, right? You can find your
Yeah.
soulmate from like globalization has made it, like the internet, globalization, like the fact that traveling to different countries have become so easy, makes it really interesting that like we can search outside our own social circles. We can search outside our country, you know?
Yeah.
We find people that we connect with on a whole other level. A good example is like this podcast wouldn't have been a thing if it wasn't for the two of us meeting for a game. And I imagine, yeah, and I imagine that a relationship between some people could start from just simply meeting on an online game, and you can make it work, but it's hard work. Like
I actually
I think
have
it's really hard work.
one friend that actually is the first success story to a long distance relationship that I've ever had. A really dear friend of mine that is from the Netherlands.
Hmm.
He met his girl when we were playing World of Warcraft. And this was like 2013, 2011-ish, somewhere around
Ooh,
that
that's a
line.
long time ago.
Yeah, and they're still
Damn.
together today and live
Okay.
together. They,
Congratulations to that
yeah,
couple.
they were together for like on long distance for like 1 or 2 years, and now basically the girl moved over to him, and they have lived together ever since, and they still have a really healthy and good relationship together.
Yeah, I mean, it can work. It's not all
It
bad.
can work. It's not it's not impossible. It can
Yeah.
work, but that means both of you have to put in the work for it.
Yeah, exactly. And exactly, it's the whole like you need to sacrifice some things, and you also need to compromise on a couple of stuff.
Yeah.
And I think what we are mostly interested in like highlighting here is the fact that like, yes, it can be sustainable, it can work out, but it is hard work, and it really depends on who you are as a person. If you're a person that seeks intimacy quite frequently, in any way or form, then a long distance
No,
relationship, yeah, it's not gonna work out.
It's not gonna. No, it's not
Mhm.
gonna work for
Yeah,
you.
it's not gonna work. But like, if you're the kind of person that have self-control, don't feel the need to have physical intimacy, but more so like it's the emotional connection. Like if the emotional connection matters more to you, then all power to you. Like go for it. Like try to start a long distance relationship, and try to make it work. But I tell you,
They
man,
have to be very, very clear with that in
yeah,
the beginning,
yeah,
so the other person doesn't expect that they will be able to get like physical intimacy from them. It's actually gonna be without it. They need to tell people that in the beginning.
yeah. It's like it's gonna be without it for quite a while, right? It's just like it's not possible to just meet someone just on a weekend if you live countries apart, right? Like you would have to stay together for like a week, and the biggest
Yeah.
problem is like when you meet face to face, finally, you might not connect. So it's like I think you need to know the risk of what you're going into, and then go through with it, and then it can work out. But if you go into it with no expectations, or you just think it's just gonna work, no, it's not. Like you need
No.
to work for it. There's no other way. Like it's either you go in you're ready to commit yourself and work for this, like don't go to anyone else, then yes, it can work. But if that's not you, just drop it and try to find someone that lives closer to you.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, obviously, if you're the kind of person that travels a lot anyway, I mean, it doesn't really change much. And if you have a car or any kind of like a motorcycle, whatever, like some kind of a transportation, and you can visit the person from time to time quite easily, even though you live like very far from each other, I mean, go for it as well, right? But like, at that point where like you have to wait several months to even see each other, then you need to think about, is this gonna work? Is this really something that I want? Because at that point, like me personally, like I'm not gonna be too specific, but there's this one girl that I actually do quite like, but she lives way too far away from me for it to be something that could actually work because of my studies and everything that I do. It's just, I don't know. It's hard to commit to something that doesn't seem to be possible at the current time, right? It's just, when I'm done with my education, once I have more free time or whatever, like vacation days, whatever, you know, it maybe then it could work. But the problem is, it's not that easy. Like,
no.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. For me, it is pretty hard. I wish it was different, but you know, it's just, it is what it is.
That is the problem with long distance. Like, even if you want to meet the person, they're too far away, or you won't have the time to go there or meet them up. So you always have to plan things out. And I don't know how many times it's been like when I try to meet someone that is long distance, when you plan it out and you're at actually the day before or the same day you're about to meet, things gets canceled. Like, change of plans, or the person can't meet anymore. You know, it's as if the person gets cold feet because they're about to meet you for the first time. You know, all that.
There's so many things playing into it, right? And it's also the one thing that I find really scary is the fact that like you won't truly know if you like the person or not. Like, if you connect with the person until you meet face to face, because as we all know, we act a little bit different online than we might do when we're like face to face. When we're like face to face.
Completely different.
It's, I would say for the most part, I am the same person. Either like even if it's like online or not. But like when I'm out and about, I'm more of a quiet person, right? I like to keep to myself. I like my own company a lot. So it's just like the people that I let into my life are the kind of people that like I want to spend time with, right? It's people that I actually do care about and actually want to have a conversation with. And but online, hell man, like I'm writing all the place, like writing to people constantly. Like I have so many people I'm in contact with just because of the podcast, but also just in general having conversations. But I think for the most part, the ones that I have that I write to the most, are the ones that I have contact to the most on a daily basis, are the ones that I find most important in my life to actually be in connection with. So with that in mind, right, it's like it's not that different, but just a tiny bit, right?
Yeah,
just a tiny bit.
Yeah, when you say it, it is like it's as you said. Like I've noticed, like for me personally though, like as you can know, I'm pretty chatty. I like to talk.
Oh yeah,
I like to talk.
I mean, this is one of the reasons why we made the podcast in the first place, right?
Yeah, I talk a lot. Even what for me, it's kind of like if you're not important to me, if you're of no importance, and I'm not even interested in you, you don't exist. I'm sorry, but you just don't exist. I don't put any time or effort, or my body doesn't even want to put any resources into listening to you. Funny thing, I remember this one time. I was at a workplace that I have used to work at before. I'm talking to my colleagues, and there's this one other colleague that gender dislike. I was talking to my colleague. I literally didn't hear shit from what that person said, because my body decided to filter everything out that this person said. It muted this out. So my friend was like,
wait, completely?
Yeah, completely. I didn't
What
hear
the
a
heck?
shit from what that person said. I was
Damn.
talking to my colleague. My colleague like, but this person been asking questions like the past 10 minutes, huh? Not until my colleague said this person been asking you, I turned around and I was like, oh, you're here? I completely didn't notice that this person was actually sitting next to me, asking me questions. I completely just filtered that out. Totally ignored it.
Holy shit.
Totally ignored it.
Damn, dude.
Yeah, that's how
Yeah.
I can be like, if you end up on the bad side, I can completely shut you out of my life. That's how I can do it.
Yeah,
But that's basically the thing with the long distance for me. Like those that I've had long distance relationship with and it's really gone bad with, I've done the same thing with them.
Yeah,
like,
but I think that also kind of like proves our point, right? It's like it is who you are as a person that's gonna determine the success of like a long distance relationship.
yeah.
But I think for most people, I think it's really hard to sustain the relationship because
If there's no intimacy, there's nothing. It's
yeah.
nothing that's gonna reward you. It's just gonna feel like, oh, it's just another friend that I'm talking to online.
Yeah, exactly, right.
A
So
relationship is where you have someone you can hug, someone you can love, someone you can actually show affection, physically as mentally, and to be the support you and all that shit. That's basically for me.
Yeah, 100% agree.
But it is what it is,
Yeah, but
not much you can do about it.
I think I just think that for all it's worth, right? It's like I wouldn't steer people away from a long distance relationship. I would say give it a chance, like give it a shot. It's your life.
Definitely
like,
give it a try.
Yeah,
like,
give it a try. Like
you might have an easier time than we did.
Yeah, exactly. Like we're just maybe two examples of
failed
attempts. It just didn't work out. I mean, heck, man. Like I've met plenty of really great women online, but it's just that like I can't, like, the emotional connection is really hard to build. It's really hard to commit to the relationship when you haven't even met the person face to face. And obviously you can have an emotional connection to someone, but emotional connection and commitment are two different things, right? Like you can be you can be fucking emotionally connected to your dog, to your cat even, right? Like but it's like, but does that mean you want to fully commit? I mean, sure. I mean, some people really love their dog, so they do a lot for their dog. I mean,
yeah.
You see, I love my dog, but then you see another example of like, they say they like their dog, they say they like their animals, but they treat them like shit, right? So, it's a bit off topic here, but like,
yeah, I know it's off topic, but I hate those kind of people.
Yeah,
but I literally hate those. No, like this, I love my dog. Literally treats their dog like shit, and I'm just like, do you really love it?
Yeah, but like my point. Yeah, but my point is just that like you can have the emotional connection, but it's just like it's not always gonna lead somewhere. It's just, I guess what I'm trying to say is that, ladies and gentlemen, be very careful of who you choose to have a long distance relationship with, and don't let your feelings get too involved. Like, don't take it like too strongly, unless like that you can trust the person. Like, if you feel this works out, I can trust this person, I want this to work, then go for it. But if you get hurt, just know that you're taking a risk, right? Like, you knew from the start, if you go for a long distance relationship, you take a risk. That's all it is.
Yeah,
it can work,
and you have to be careful about it. Like, literally, if you feel anything that is off with that relationship, to be honest, sure, you can give it a try. But if that sense of this is not feeling right, then do yourself a favor and do not waste your own time. Move on.
Exactly.
Do not cling to something. Just move on.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I could say it better myself. It really just is that, like, when it comes to long-distance relationship, assess the risk. Is it something you can live with? Do you think it's worth the effort? If yes, be my guest. Do, like, go full in, like, just full gas. But honestly, if you don't see yourself living under the conditions of, like, a long-distance relationship, then stomp the brakes. Like, fucking break the fucking, like, stomp the brakes until you break the fucking handle. Like, really, just stop, right? And be honest over for, like, the other person. Like, be honest to the other person about, like, how you feel about it, right? But obviously, it can work. So, we're going a bit in a circle here, talking about this.
Yeah.
Like, I think.
Yeah. Honestly, dating is kind of like that.
Yeah.
Dating goes in circles and circles. You can never really get out of that loop because it's always something that bounces back to the beginning, and it's always gonna be like that.
Yeah. It's really just
a conversation that can go on infinitely.
Yeah. The conversation could go on where we keep repeating ourselves. So I think that keep in mind what we've said here today. Just protect yourself and be careful of who you are, like, committing your time to, because the most valuable resource that any of us ever has in this world is time. That's all it is. Time is the most valuable resource that you can have in your life. So be careful on who you spend it on, and basically be careful that you don't waste it too much. But of course, it's up to you. And with that said, I think we are about done with this podcast. Unless you have something to add, Doukie?
No, not really. If I would add something, we would go back in circles again.
All right.
It's better to stay out of that one.
Yeah, okay. So I think this wraps up this episode. So for the ones that have made it to the end, thank you so much for listening in or watching. And remember to subscribe. Like, really, like, subscribe to our YouTube channel.
And subscribe.
Yeah.
Follow our Twitter.
Please do it, because we really want to see you, show support, and we really want to
share your thoughts.
Yeah,
What's
share your thoughts.
Yeah,
write down in the comments, what are your thoughts about this topic? Do you agree with us, or do you completely disagree? Like, is there something we have missed, or are we just completely fucking stupid? Let us know down in the comments, and just let us know. And if you have anything, if you have any feedback, anything you wanted to let us know, again, the comments are a very good way.
Or want us to talk about.
Yep. And you can also follow us on Twitter, Instagram, right? TikTok, I think we also have.
Yeah, we haven't uploaded there yet, though, but we will.
We have a bunch of different socials you can check out. We're gonna work more on that, and yeah, thank you for this time, and we see you all in the next episode.
Yeah.
So, skål! See ya!
Skål!